Regular meeting of the Bardstown City Council to order. I do want to advise everyone that we will be going into an executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101C, where discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of a public agency. We will be doing that at the end of the meeting. So I'm going to move a few of our people up in the agenda. So some of them, we got at least three groups that are going to speak on some of these agenda topics. But the first one, I would like to call on Treasurer Jameson, who was helping to ask us to do the proclamation on the Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. So Treasurer, if you're on the call, I would ask you to speak to this. I know you and I and the judge and some others from some of the other agencies met yesterday and talked about this effort here in Nelson County.
Yes, hi, thank you for having me. The National Homeless and Hunger Awareness Week is something that, gives everyone the opportunity in all of our community to focus on the homeless issues that we have in our community. Of course, this is something that we do year round, but we're just grateful to have the community rallying around and being aware of the issues that we have with homelessness in our community. So this is a great opportunity for education and awareness and for us to reach out and let them know what our needs are. So we're very grateful to have everybody participating in that.
And Treasurer, I forgot to ask you to, are you with Bethany Haven or Rooms
Yes.
Inn?
Yes, so I'm actually the executive director of Bethany Haven. And under Bethany Haven is Christie's Place, which is our transitional shelter for females with or without children. We have Harbor House Inn, which we opened a year ago in September, which is our transitional house for men. And we have Room in the Inn, which is our emergency overnight shelter for drop-ins. And we do that 7 nights a week. And we started doing it with just a winter program for the first 3 years. And for the last 3, we've included summer. So we've been working year round.
Okay, thank you. And you'll see when we read this proclamation that we're not only are we fortunate to have agencies that are helping with the homelessness issue here in Bardstown, Nelson County, we have a number that are also assisting with people who are in need of food and nutrition. And we're lucky that we have several agencies that are also helping in that regard. So for a small community, we are blessed that we have a number of people that are being proactive in trying to deal with these issues. There's a lot of communities our size that don't have any kind of program for homelessness, whether it's temporary due to domestic violence issues or whatever. And certainly senior citizens and shut-ins and people that can't get out, that are missing regular meals and so forth. We have agencies dealing with that. So with that being said, I'd like to ask our city attorney, Audrey, to read our proclamation that we want to present tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas for over 25 years, the National Coalition for the Homeless and National Student Campaign Against Hunger and Homelessness has sponsored the National Homelessness Awareness Week. And whereas the purpose of this proclamation is to educate the public about the many reasons people are hungry and homeless, including the shortage of affordable housing in Nelson County for very low income residents, and to encourage support for homeless assistance service providers, as well as community service opportunities for students and school service organizations. And whereas there are organizations in Bardstown and Nelson County committed to sheltering, providing supportive services, as well as meals and food supplies to the homeless and others in need, including Bethany Haven and its Room in the Inn, Christie's Place, and the Harbor House Inn program, along with over 20 participating churches and religious organizations such as St. Vincent de Paul Outreach Ministries and the Bread for Life Community Food Pantry. And whereas the government leaders of Nelson County recognize that homelessness continues to be a serious problem for many individuals and families in Bardstown and Nelson County. And whereas the intent of National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week is to shed light on the positive efforts of individuals and organizations in our community that are working to assist people with housing, food, employment, and self-sufficiency. Now, therefore, I, J. Richard Heaton, Mayor of the City of Bardstown, do hereby proclaim November 13th through 21st, 2021 to be National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week in Bardstown, Kentucky. Further, I urge all citizens to recognize that many people do not have access to the basic necessities of life, such as housing and food, and need support from citizens and public and private service organizations.
Thank you, Audrey. Does anyone on the council have any questions of Treasurer this evening? I would say that, we've also had some just brief discussions with all the stakeholders that we're going to hope to work on some best practices and actions between now and next year, and see if we can't come up with some solutions to help reduce this problem, particularly with our homeless problem here in Bardstown, Nelson County. We all know it is a major problem, and we need to get working on some solutions to help try to reduce the number of homelessness here and their impact on many areas of our community. So we plan to be working on that during the next several months, and hopefully have some new ways of dealing with this starting in 2022 or sometime during 2022 to take some positive steps towards improving this situation. Okay, with that being said, I would like to ask the council if they would make a motion to approve National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week here in Bardstown from November 13th through the 21st.
So moved, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
All right, I think that was Councilwoman Park. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move up, call on Randy Mauser, our Main Street Director, to talk about Light Up Bardstown.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sorry, I'm in my car, so I can't turn my camera on because I'm driving. So my apologies. I just left another meeting. But yes, I'm coming to you guys with street closures for the upcoming Light Up Bardstown, which will be on Friday, November the 26th. I'm asking for street closures to start from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. like in past years. Basically, we are going to do a detoured route starting at 2nd Street. So there will be a barricade at 2nd Street all the way up to the front of Court Square. So half of the circle will need to be closed off, as well as down to the first block of 3rd Street to Flagey. And I have been in contact with Major Seeley, and he will make sure that he has officers at each barricade as well as extra security at the event.
Okay, and this mirrors the same closures and stuff we've been doing the last several years, I believe, Randy.
Yes, sir, it does. Nothing's changed.
Okay, well, it's a fun event, and I know young kids and us old kids enjoy it. So it's a great night in our downtown to kick off shopping season.
Yes.
and the Christmas season. So anyone on the council have any other questions of Randy? If not, then I would ask for a motion to approve the road closure request for Main Street for November 26th for our Light Up Bardstown event.
So move, Mayor.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Hibbs. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you, Councilman Buckman. We have a second. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then I want to call on Lisa Thomas. She's got another request regarding the farmer's market that kind of ties into all this. So Lisa, I'll let you talk about the farmer's market event.
Yes, everybody can hear me, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Yes, so we at the chamber really want to help promote our retail businesses. And so we've partnered with Randy at Main Street. Shop Small Saturday is the day after Light Up, which is the biggest shopping day for local businesses. And we wanted to really just bring some special aspects to our local community. And so what I'm doing is seeking approval to put an ice skating rink under the Farmers Market Pavilion. I had sent over previously a map. It's approximately about 1,700 square feet. We scaled it down under to the map, and it looks like it fits almost perfectly underneath the pavilion there. It holds about 40 people.
We kind of lost you there, Lisa.
I think what she was saying was it will hold up to
The
40
first
people.
year really are going to kind of scale.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, can you hear me now? Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so it can hold up to 40 people at a time. However, we probably are going to start out 25, 30 people. We have the capabilities of doing a pre-registration. We would like to, we would be doing 30-minute sessions with people who have registered. There will be a $5 fee to skate. And we are looking at also maybe having a couple of sessions that are just for children and adults with disabilities that will be very much more limited to maybe 20 people in those sessions. And we've also been in contact with the police department to see if there was anything that we needed to do. They asked questions about, you know, if we were going to have alcohol, things like that. We will not be serving any alcoholic beverages during this time at the farmers market. And we have looked at getting security overnight to make sure that it's safe for the community. And we've also looked at adding insurance just to protect us during this event.
And I think I've heard that they've done this. Of course, this company's out of Danville, but they've done this, I believe, in Springfield and maybe Lebanon or Loretta in Marion County have both done this. Is that correct? Are you aware of that?
I have, in some research, I've seen that they've done this in Corbin. This ice skating rink does come out of Danville. So I am pretty sure that they have done this also in Danville. It's also, you know, I think what it would do is it would really bring a good touch to this weekend. We would start it on November 26th during Light Up and then continue it the next day. I think that it's something that's family friendly, that would all families, all ages could enjoy.
Okay. Council members, any of you all have any questions of Lisa or any thoughts on this being a doable event for us in the farmers market?
Mayor, I'd like to speak, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think it's a great idea, and I applaud the chamber and the downtown group for taking this on. Kim Houston and I talked about something like this back during my drama days. So that's how long we've been batting this idea around. So I'm so glad that the chamber and the downtown came up with it. I do know that Maker's Mark did it probably maybe 5 to 10 years ago. I don't know if they use the same group as that comes out of Danville, but I'm very excited about it. I think it's a great thing for our community.
Okay.
Mayor, I know that Lisa had mentioned liability insurance, but I think, you know, in light of the fact that it would be on city property, since it would be there at the farmers market, we would certainly want them to have liability insurance where they're listing the city as an additional insured. And I don't know if Greg has a specific, I don't know if we usually ask for $1 million or if there's a different amount, but, you know, obviously the lawyer in me, you know, recognizes that it would be really easy to fall ice skating. I have done it. And with them being on city property, I would just want to make sure we're covering ourselves.
Good point. Lisa, I guess that might be a condition of our approval for you to work with Greg Ashworth here at the city, who handles all our risk management and insurance issues. So if anyone else on the council have any comments or
One,
questions?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking about parking. I mean, during that's going to be a pretty heavy, probably shopping time or event downtown. And I know we did this recently with the Craft Beer Festival, and that eliminates that parking. And I was wondering about what effect that may have on downtown parking.
Well, I guess we'll find out. You can see there'll still be quite a bit of parking available in the market. You know, the rest of the farmers market area. Looks to me like you're going to eliminate about half of what probably everything underneath the pavilion area would not be available, but you still got quite a bit of parking available. And then, of course, that night and Saturday afternoons, there's adjacent parking. And people seem to find places to park on those evenings and days anyway, and other events just like Craft Festival and Beer Festival and so forth. So I feel like this is something good for our community and something different. It certainly gives the children something to do. Would be a nice added touch for that, just those 2 days.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the other events that we held that eliminated that as being parking, I don't know if it showed up that much of an event. I really asked the question just to see if there were any options that we could open any other areas up to assist. Not that we wouldn't do it, but if there's any other options that we could open up. I can't think of anything. I was throwing it out, so maybe the rest of the council may have some ideas.
Well, the two banks that are nearby will only be open, I guess, Saturday morning from 8:30 till noon. And then they'll be closed Friday night and Saturday afternoon. So those facilities would be available for parking.
Well, let me tell you, the people, if they want to come, they'll find a way. If they have to walk 2 or 3 blocks, it doesn't matter. They've been putting on events and stuff like this. You know, if they want to come, they'll find a way, and they'll find a way to get in, and they'll find a way to get out. I think we'll be okay, David.
Thanks, Bill.
I'm not sure if this helps with the parking question, but we're only scheduling, like I said, 30 people for each session. And then we have about a 10-15 minute break for people to put skates on and off to come, in and out. And so if people are just coming down for the skating, I think that, there will be kind of a trickle and not so much as a large crowd. We're looking at maybe accommodating about 500 total over the 2 days.
I would envision you all might sell out in advance if you market it properly, because you do have a limited number of skates available and times available.
Yes. Yeah. Because
I think it's
pre-registration.
Yeah. That is Thanksgiving weekend. Am I correct on that, guys? I mean, weekend after Thanksgiving.
That is correct.
Yeah, I think it's a very clever idea. It's a neat thing that you've added to Bardstown. It's a good event, really good event.
All right, if there's no other, well, we see, we got one other closure. Maybe we just do all these at one time. We've got the Christmas parade. Excuse me, does anybody else have any other questions of Lisa? I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut that off. So Audrey, I think we'll just lump all three of these together if we could, probably.
That'll be fine, Mayor, as long as we have any
Right.
conditions listed for which one we might have conditions on.
Right, just the, I think the last one is our Christmas parade closure, and you've got a copy of the letter there. It's the same as we've been doing last several years. Of course, we couldn't hold it last year due to COVID, but it's great that we're being able to have our Christmas parade. So the parade route, same one we've been using for many, many years, and the time of the event, start at 5, and I think it usually takes a little over an hour to get everybody through. So you all seen the map of the parade routes, starting on Broadway, going to 3rd, and then heading west on Stephen Foster. So does anyone have any questions on that one? Roth is not on the call, but I figured since we've done this so often, that would not be too complicated for us to decide on. Okay. Then if I could, if everybody's in agreement for these requests for the 2 road closures and the use of the farmer's market for the ice skating event, with the conditions that they need to coordinate with city on adequate insurance, liability insurance, naming the city as an additional insured on the ice skating rink. I'd ask for a motion to approve all 3 of these requests.
So
So
moved,
moved,
Mayor.
Mayor.
Okay, I think that was Councilman Buckman on the motion and Councilwoman Hart on the second. Is there any other discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, these are all good. Randy and Lisa, thank you all for getting together on these events, and it's great that we're going to be able to host them live this year and in person after a 1-year sabbatical. I think everybody's going to really enjoy this and really be a great couple of days in Bardstown. Thank you.
Thank you all so
Thank
much.
you
We
very
appreciate
much.
your support.
You bet.
Yes, thank you for your support.
Thank you all.
Okay, then we'll go back to our agenda items. The next one is our bid tab for the Woodlawn Trunk Project. This is a new project. As you remember, we just completed a sewer line project in the Woodlawn area. Now we've got another one, so I'll call on Jessica to walk us through this one.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just a sewer extension, sort of where the current Rowan Creek trunk line ends, but would extend behind Schuler Drive and follow along the Rowan Creek and be able to serve future phases of residential development that's currently off of Filiatro Lane, and would eliminate the sewer pump station at Woodlawn Springs and Rowan Creek condominiums. So that creates additional capacity for additional growth in that area that otherwise the existing pump station would not be able to house. So it's one of those things we kind of had in our extended planning, but as growth in that area is really taking part, this is going to be a really good project. It also will help eliminate some odors by shortening force mains and taking away pump stations. So that will also provide a lot of benefit to existing customers. We actually had really good turnout for the bid, as you can see, with the current market and piping and pricing. We really weren't sure if we were going to come in high or low, but was excited to see that Our low bidder came out to be Schroeder Construction out of Elizabethtown in the amount of $933,200. So our amended engineering estimate had been around 1.4 million. And you can kind of see all of our bids came in just under that. So again, Schroeder is a construction company that has been around for a number of years, and they're doing a lot of work in the Elizabethtown, Hardin County area, and their references checked out. So I would like to ask the council to award Schroeder Construction this project.
Thank you, Jessica. Does any of the council members have any questions on this? Understand kind of where this line is located and so forth?
I have a question for Jessica. Jessica, did you say it's going to help eliminate some odors?
Yes, there's currently Woodlawn Springs Pump Station and the American Greetings Pump Station both discharge their waste streams into an area just off of like Council Drive and into the upper gravity shed of like Presidential Estates. And when you have those long force mains and those pumping cycles, that oftentimes generates obnoxious smells at that discharge point. So we've been battling and tried to add a chemical to help neutralize those odors at that discharge point. But again, at certain times of the year, that's really difficult to do just because of temperature and the distance that it's got to go and the time in the line. So this is one of those ways I've been really trying to get some temporary solutions for that, for those folks, but this will eliminate that in that area, because now we will shorten the length of line from the AG pump station. Will now discharge at this location, so it's half the distance, which is really going to minimize that residence time in the line. And it will completely eliminate Woodlawn Springs altogether, that pump station and discharge point. So anytime you can gravity, that's always a much better situation. And I'm excited. Hopefully, again, it's hard to open up new areas for gravity service, and this will open up some other unimproved properties that will allow them to be served, in the future as well.
Thank you, Jessica.
Anyone else have any other questions? Okay, we'd like to ask for a motion to approve the recommendation from our city engineer and also Robin Mills to award this contract to Schroeder Construction for the Woodlawn trunk sewer bid, trunk line sewer bid.
So moved, Mayor.
So moved, Mayor.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Jones and a second by Councilman Williams. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. All right, now next item is approval of our minutes. If no one has any additions or corrections of the minutes from October 26th, we can approve them by unanimous consent. Okay. Then call on Jessica again to talk about our Town Creek waste treatment plant upgrade.
But yes, Mayor, we are looking at making some additional improvements at the Town Creek wastewater treatment plant. Over the years, there's not been a lot of upgrades to that facility other than just being able to handle a little bit more flow to hold in the lagoons and just doing maintenance work and being able to carry water from one end of the plant to the back of the plant. Once we got the Town Creek trunk line upgraded back in 2010 to a 36-inch line. So we've added some screening to make some improvements, but some of our treatment processes have not really been upgraded. since they were installed in the 60s. So we're seeing some of those are an inability at times to continue to meet permit limit and start struggling with ammonia and so forth. So we're looking at making some improvements and looking at opportunities to potentially even expand our ability to treat at this location. Since so much of our growth you're seeing is in that east side of our community. So it's from Town Creek, Trunk Sewer area, the Round Creek, which we've just improved, and the areas we're talking about just tonight in the Woodlawn area, that would all end up first coming to the Town Creek plant. Not to mention we are having lots of expansion of existing distilleries in the area that are along this wayshed. So with that comes heavily loaded waste streams. So as we're kind of needing to take this opportunity to really invest in that system and make sure that we can maximize what we've already have coming into our system. So we're looking at new bio tower, clarifiers, and we're going to see if the math works. We're kind of constricted with our location, but we're hoping we can even expand some volume and just again do a better job and make sure that we're continuing to meet our permit limit and be able to handle our community's waste streams. One thing we're also doing, because some of this growth area is for expanding distilleries and the growth of some new hotels in the area. We are looking at trying to take those opportunities for economic development and investment in the community and apply for some EDA grant money as well. So we're trying to get together proposals. We have contracted with Hunters Consulting, who are the consulting company that helped us apply and get awarded the EDA grant for the Rowan Creek project for $1.6 million. So there's currently additional, I think 3 times the amount of money in the federal EDA pool grant funds this year. And I'm looking to try to get some of those funds here in Bardstown to help us with some of these expenses. And I think it would be good, and I think we could really qualify for that because of that level of growth. And at the plant, we can count a lot of things. Anything that's being sent to that treatment facility, we can count that local investment and jobs. So it doesn't necessarily have to all just be in an industry either. So any commercial jobs, and also because if there's anything occurring in Bloomfield in that area, whether it be residential growth or investment, we get that because that's being sent and treated at the Town Creek plant, even that could be counted. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to be trying to send out some letters and working with Kim Houston to try to find those that growth and see to try to maximize our ability to hopefully get some big money awarded back to our community for economic development grant.
Jessica, this is David. I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Is the recent influx of the additional monies in the federal program, is that due to the recent increase in infrastructure bill that was signed? Or is that something that's later on down the road?
The money that I was informed about actually was allocated back in, I'm wanting to say early summer. So this has been earmarked or allocated for their funding cycle back before this recent infrastructure bill went into place. Now, that could be a different set of pool of money or different pool of money. That again, we've got lots of capital improvements and growing pains going on in our community right now that my goal is to try to apply for as much of that as I can, because there are some other water needs that we have going on. We still have some other sewer needs on the west side of town with Row Creek. So I'm trying to go after as much as I can, just trying to maximize. I can't count jobs twice or investment twice. So I'm trying to be careful, and plant work is less selective. So you have more opportunity to find those jobs at a plant than if I were trying to find along a single water line or a single trunk line. And since some of the growth is happening doubly, like some facilities have grown in the last 5 years, but yeah, they're planning additional expansion, I can count those new jobs from the last time. So any new job, any new investment that hasn't previously been counted, we can utilize again. But I can't count an expansion from 2 years ago because we did get some grant money for the Rowan Creek. So trying to maximize our application and what's going to score the highest and what we can count the most for. But yeah, I'm hopeful to see what the infrastructure bill recently passed is going to shake loose too.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions of Jessica on this discussion about future upgrades to the plant?
I have a quick one, Mayor, please.
Okay.
Jessica, with the new development that's going to be off Loretta Road back behind Parkview Drive, will that be serviced by Town Creek as well?
Yes. Yes. And that was kind of area that was planned or anticipated when we upgraded the Potter Shop pump station, because that kind of flows to that basin. Back in 2011, when the previous, I guess there was an additional force main ran across the golf course, back to the Town Creek plant in around 2011, 2012. We obtained easements from the Corbett's and a lot of that property. So it was always anticipated we wanted, since it could be served by that station, we try to make sure we're reserving anything that naturally can be served in that area.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if there's no other questions, Jessica, I think you've got some other information to update the council on the lagoon cleaning project at Town Creek.
Yes, I think at our last meeting, we were waiting to determine kind of their smells were pretty bad. We were still in a pretty warm spell, and I was waiting to hear on whether or not we were going to be able to continue cleaning operations or if we were going to have to back up and punt and try again in the spring. I think the paper had reported that we would anticipate smells through the spring, and I want to put that to rest that that's not the case, that we were able to start taking loads back to Nelson County landfill, and we did go ahead, did that same week get permission and permitted to take loads to the Hardin County landfill as well. So that load removing process is ongoing right now, and I'm hopeful that that will be completed in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and then we'll be able to get all the air back in, and hopefully we won't be doing this again in the spring at this location. So.
All right, anyone have any other questions of Jessica on the lagoon cleaning project? Okay, thank you, Jessica. You've got one more, I think, project here, Jessica, on this resolution to pave Spencer Mattingly.
Yes, the city applied for some requested discretionary funds to help us with some of our heavier trafficked or larger, what I call more industrial kind of traffic. And Spencer Mattingly was one of the roads that we had requested discretionary money for, and the city was successful, and the state has granted those discretionary funds to help us pay for the city portion of Spencer Mattingly Lane. So this is just a resolution to following those processes and getting that paperwork set up such that we get that assistance for Spencer Mattingly.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We had requested more money to even, I think, Philiatro Lane was also, or was that Parkway?
I'm thinking it was Parkway.
Yeah. So we found out, we do want to thank, of course, Governor Beshear and Secretary Gray and our state Senator Higdon and Representative McCoy that all kind of work together on this request. And I know the county got some money as well. this isn't as much money as we asked for, and it's not as much money as we got last year, but what we found out is there was less of a pool of money to pull from this year. I believe mainly because when they did their budgeting, it was a one-year budget, just like it was in the previous year. It wasn't a typical two-year budget process. So they were pretty conservative on this. We have been told that things are improving at Frankfurt, and that this pool of money next year, after this next session, should be much larger, and we hopefully will get or have the ability to maybe get some of the money that we didn't get this time around in the next round of funding. But overall, everybody's portion of this was less than it was last year, mainly for those reasons. But we are appreciative of getting this nearly $46,000 to do the Spencer Mattingly project. It's long overdue, and it's gotten to be pretty rough. There's a lot of truck traffic on that road. So I guess, Audrey, do we just need to approve the resolution, or I guess we need someone to introduce it formally and let you read it?
Sure, Mayor. Yeah, I think that's fine. If someone wants to introduce it, I'll be happy to read it.
Mayor,
Mayor,
maybe in order introduce resolution R 2021-10, a resolution for the Spencer Mattingly Lane resurfacing project, and ask our city attorney to read it in summary, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hibbs. Resolution R 2021-10, a resolution adopting and approving the execution of a memorandum of agreement between the City of Bardstown and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Department of Highways in the amount of $45,975 for the Spencer Mattingly Lane resurfacing project. Whereas the parties hereto desire to resurface Spencer Mattingly Lane, CS 1001 in the City of Bardstown, which shall hereinafter be referred to as the project. And whereas the City of Bardstown, the city, desires to be the lead agency and perform this project to enhance the safety and reliability of roadway connections for the commuting public. And whereas the city shall refer to applicable state requirements listed in the project development guide for local public agencies and any future revisions for assistance in complying with this agreement. And whereas the city has asked the Kentucky Department of Highways, the department, for funding assistance for costs incurred during this project. And whereas the department agrees that this is a worthwhile project and is willing to reimburse the city up to $45,975 in state contingency funding, FD 39, for the completion of this project. And whereas any cost in excess of the allocated reimbursement funding, $45,975 for this project, will be the responsibility of the city. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Bardstown that the City of Bardstown does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said agreement, does hereby accept the funds provided in said agreement, by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated. Be it further resolved that the mayor of the City of Bardstown is hereby authorized and directed to sign said agreement as set forth on behalf of the City Council of the City of Bardstown.
Okay, thank you, Audrey. If there's no more questions or discussions, I'd ask for a motion to approve resolution R 2021-10.
So moved, Mayor.
Thank you, David. Councilman Dones. We have a second.
I'll second
that.
All right, I think that's Councilman Buckman. Any more discussion? You might remember these funds are similar to the funds we got in the past where we did Nutter Drive and Withrow Court, both of those in our industrial areas. That's what these are kind of designed for, to help you with those kind of, this will come in very handy. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion is carried. All right, next we have a mobile food vendor application, Cecilia's Mobile Kitchen. I'd ask our city clerk, Gary Little, if he's got, if this is all in order.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Yes, this this company that's wanting to start up their trailer has been working on it pretty hard for the last few weeks and months, and they have everything they need. They've spoken with planning and zoning. They have their insurance. They've been inspected by the health department. So this one is all okay for a vote if you choose to do so tonight.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Has anyone got any questions of Gary or concerns on this application? Okay, if not, then we'd ask for a motion to approve the mobile food vendor permit for Cecilia's Mobile Kitchen as
So
presented.
moved.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Williams. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
I think that was Councilman Dones.
Yes, sir.
All right, motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Any opposed? Motion is carried then. Thank you. We've got some cemetery deeds. We've got purchase of one grave site each for Margaret Littlejohn and Ruth Morrow, and purchase of 2 grave sites by Betty Shekels. And we can approve them by unanimous consent. All right, and then next item is any members of the council have anything to bring before the council this evening?
Mayor, I've got one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
Following in line with the Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, Betty and I just wanted to call attention to the Blessing Box program again. Thank everybody who's been graciously donating to that, and thanks Save a Lot again for their partnership. So far, we've got over $5,500 in donations in the Blessing Box program, not including any private donations. So we just ask, coming up on the season of giving with Thanksgiving and Christmas, that we maybe pay some extra special attention to those and make sure everyone has a blessed Thanksgiving and Christmas. And if you so feel inclined to maybe put some things in the creativity cupboard, some art things that some kids can use throughout this holiday season. So thanks again for everyone who's been a part of this.
And Mayor, if I could make a comment.
Yes, sir. Coach Rowe.
One of the best times, it's like a homeroom at Bardstown High School. They have constructed a blessing box that they're going to, I believe, put somewhere in front of the elementary school in the very near future.
Awesome.
Cool.
Great.
Is that the new elementary school, Coach, or the current?
No, sir, the current one over by the football field.
Keep us updated on that, Coach, for sure.
Yes, sir.
And I think Councilwoman Hart, did you have something?
Yes, please. And I apologize. It's been a while since I've updated on nail care, so I thought I would take the opportunity to do that tonight. We have completed all of our paperwork and sent it to the IRS to get our nonprofit status. So hopefully we'll have that back in a few months. Our steering committee is going on a field trip in a few weeks, and we are visiting the Crown Recovery Center in Springfield and the Isaiah House in Chaplin, just to kind of get a feel for both what those two programs offer. We are still hoping to have our one-stop resource center. We've put it on hold until we come out of the red zone. So my goal would be to get that started probably in January. One of our members has been working really hard on some educational components to our group, so I'll keep you updated on those. Jennifer Osborne with the Lincoln Trail Health Department has asked that we kind of share information about the needle exchange program, which is much needed in our county. Those numbers that she's seeing are increasing. She does it every Thursday. And when I first got started with nail care, I really didn't understand the needle exchange. It seemed like we were aiding people to use drugs, but now that I understand it, it's really to help them do so more safely. We know they're going to use, so we just want them to be safe as they do it. At the needle exchange, they are now handing out fentanyl test strips. And Jennifer said these have been very successful where they can crush down their drugs and add some liquid to them just to test the fentanyl. And they're finding that fentanyl in a lot of these drugs is very high. So the people that are using the test strips will hopefully use less drugs and will have less overdoses. Along with the needle exchange that Jennifer does every week, they do tests for HIV and hepatitis C, and they also counsel them to treatment. So it's an important service that the health department provides our community. I've been updating kind of some stats. Just our police department alone, the Bardstown Police Department, as of the end of October in 1920, they had responded to 52 overdose calls. That same time period for 2021, they've responded to 119 overdose calls. So that certainly tells you, and this is no surprise probably to any of us, that the drug problem is getting worse in our community. And the take-back boxes, you may or may not know that there are drug take-back boxes in the lobby at the city police department. And to date, this year, people have put in over 272 pounds of drugs, gotten those off the street. They might be prescription drugs that you didn't need all of or anything like that. So those 272 pounds of those drugs have gotten off the street. And then in addition to that, on the drug enforcement take back days, our police department has received another 22 pounds. So that take back box and our police department's cooperation with that is extremely important. And I think we all know that drugs lead to homelessness. So if we could work even harder to get a handle on the drug issue, hopefully that would lessen our homeless issue. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hart, for that update on NELCare, and also thanks for the work you all are doing. It's you are making some progress. And then the only thing I've got to add as far as the mayor's update is that I'm thinking very seriously that we'll go back live and in person at our next meeting. You know, we've been waiting hopefully till we get into the orange status. We're still, I think, in the red status at this point, but I've talked to Judge Watts. The fiscal court's been meeting back in person now for several weeks, and we've taken a look at our council chambers and talked to the judge on how they've been handling it. I think we've got adequate space to make sure that everyone is 6 feet apart, and the way they're handling it, that once they're seated, just like you are when you're in a restaurant, they take their mask off after they're seated. Masks are required in the building until that point, and then when they're seated, they conduct their meeting and make sure there's enough spacing for all the officials as well as staff and as well as media and anybody else that's there. And I think in talking to our people, we can probably get that done at our council chambers. And of course, hopefully we will be in the orange anyway, but I feel like maybe it's time for us to reconvene in person. I'm happy to, if any of the council members, if any of you all have any concerns or comments, I'd be happy to hear from you on that now, or you're certainly welcome to give me a call and discuss it later. Or if you think it's a good idea, I'll be happy to hear that as well.
Mayor, I think it's a good idea to start meeting in person again. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Thank you.
I'm for it as well, Mayor.
I am as
am
well.
I, Mayor.
As a
Okay.
master.
Well, then we'll just plan on it. And I think it's November 23rd is our next meeting date. So we'll plan on that going forward. And let's just hope that the numbers will improve. They spiked a little bit last week, so let's hope they'll improve. And they got back up closer to an incident rate of 30 per 100,000 when we've gotten it down lower than that. Greg, are you familiar? You remember what it was at the end of last week?
Yes, sir. We were at 31 on Friday. We've been hovering between 27 and 31 for about a week and a half now. As of tonight, we're back down to 29. We need to get it 25 to be out of the red zone.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's like you told me, it's been spiking. So 31 was the worst number we've had in a while. So let's hope it goes the other way. Thank you, Greg. So that's all I have in the mayor's report. If no one has anything else, I would ask for a motion to come out of regular session and go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101-C for discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of a public agency.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I think that was Councilman Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.